What's good, folk? It's your man Donald King. Back in the building. Yes. On the eve of Thanksgiving. Hey, check this out. For everybody who's been, ordering, purchasing desserts through the Dayton Dessert Dealer, I genuinely appreciate you. I thank you so kindly. I'm glad that y'all are enjoying the treats. It's like, I have it set up so that every season or so, I'm going to rotate them out, give you guys opportunity to try something new from my arsenal. Caramel macchiato. Macchiato! But, yeah, man. On the eve of Thanksgiving, tonight's subject that we're going to be discussing in the podcast, I'll be speaking. I can't actually wait to have like this set up so that I can do real conversations with people. I know that I was talking to my brother Ruben about doing that soon, and I'm very much looking forward to that. But as it stands right now, this is pretty much a monologue. I don't know who's going to say it. I don't know who's not, But, I'm going to try and get her done. I'm trying to explain these principles to y'all. On the eve of Thanksgiving, we're talking about gratitude. For the record, I'm not a big fan of Thanksgiving. I'm not a big fan of Christmas. Not necessarily because they're holidays, but because I think they have this bad habit to sort of foster this false belief wherein people equate deep social acting to genuine gratitude and genuine love. And it's so commercial. Like people stand around saying, I'm thankful for this and I'm thankful for that. And in real talk, they're not thankful. They're not thankful. They don't know what gratitude is, which is why I'm going to explain what gratitude is and then explain to you why it is probably one of the most important and one of the most powerful forces on the entire planet. Gratitude. What is gratitude? Well, gratitude is basically the feeling of elation a person experiences as a result of having and maintaining an awareness for all the ways in which they're benefiting from reality, benefiting from other people. Basically, gratitude is that good feeling you get when you're cognizant of all the ways in which good things are happening for you, either in the short term or in the long term. Right? What makes gratitude such a powerful force is the fact that, it syncs you up with reality. Right? Gratitude, it makes it easier for you to be honest. If you're honest, then you're trying to be in theme with whatever is consistent with reality, and truth is consistent with reality. Why do I say this? Okay. Well, real gratitude can only come from observation. You actually have to pay attention to the ways in which you're benefiting from things that you claim to be grateful for. You have to be cognizant of the positive impacts that others or external factors are making on you and your life experience in order to be truly grateful. Most people walk around with a false sense of gratitude. It's deep social acting. They pretend to be happy and they're all smiles and bubbly on the surface. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Word. What are you grateful for? And they'll fire off this laundry list of things that they're grateful for, but none of those things are genuinely rooted in real observation of their experience. It's like I think that for many people, gratitude is a false front they put on in order to demonstrate goodness to others and in so capture attention, which ultimately might translate into opportunities and rewards moving forward. They're motivated towards gratitude, or at least sort of projecting gratitude outwardly by the desire to consume. It's very parasitic. I'm so grateful, namaste. They're not grateful. Gratitude. Any good relationship you hope to build in life, it has to be based in gratitude. If you recall my episode where I was talking about relationships, and I described it in two ways. A relationship, a romantic relationship in this instance, it is a system of interactions between individuals that forms as a result of them bonding or connecting to one another. The relationship, it is, for all intents and purposes, it's a third life. Two people come together, a third life is born. A sort of spirit develops between them, and that spirit, well, if you nurture it right, it takes care of both people in the relationship. So, for instance, and I'll be a little crass here, but it's like, when you're in a healthy relationship and you have a significant other, right? Let's say we'll use a male and female for this particular example, but it's like when you have an awareness for the system of interactions between the two of you, as a woman, you kind of looking back like, damn, when's the last time his dick got sucked, or I rubbed his balls, or I made him feel desired or wanted, or let him know that he's genuinely appreciated. Man, I got to stay on my shit. I got to make sure that this dude over here knows that he is it to me. He is it. And then the dude is over here like, man, when's the last time I rubbed her back? When's the last time I rubbed her feet? When's the last time when's the last time I really just focused in and just did something really genuine? What am I doing to make sure that this person knows that they are it to me? What am I doing? And see, in this way, instead of saying, what can I do to please them? It's more like, how given am I to maintaining this ebb and flow of interactions between us? How given am I to making sure that it's like I'm taking care of us? How given am I to making sure that either he or she is moving forward and that they feel empowered and that the road beneath them is filled in and that the obstacles are moved? How do I see them to their higher self? That's the relationship. And you know what facilitates all of that? Gratitude. Gratitude. Gratitude is what pulls you out of the prison of selfishness. And selfishness is a prison. It's an abyss. If you are focused exclusively on your experience, you become a vacuum of potential wherein you just suck in everything around you and you just kill situation after situation after situation. You burn your bridges. You get lost within and you stay trapped within the internal narrative. That's what selfishness is. It's thinking parasitically. Me first, me only. What about me? Unfortunately, we are all, we're groomed through the socialization process to be raging narcissists. Narcissist is a person who is addicted to the identity. They're addicted to self-idealizing. That is, they want to enhance the identity and protect and preserve the identity and or inner story at all costs. And they want to defeat and destroy everything that doesn't reflect the inner story back to them or block it out. So you get into these situations where, like, you see someone who's not like you, who doesn't reflect your sense of self-worth back to you, and all of a sudden you have to defeat them. You have to compete and destroy them. Why? Because you have to protect that identity. Now imagine you take this same mentality into, say, a relationship. You're like, yo, this person is an extension of my identity. And when or if they do something that in your perception causes them to step out of line, then all of a sudden you start perceiving them as a threat. You start perceiving them as something that must be dominated and subdued in order to keep your inner story intact. So you have all these people out here burning through relationships, being narcissistic little shits because they were trained to be that way. But there's a secret out. There's a secret way out, and that is gratitude. Every woman I'm in a relationship with, every woman I enter into a relationship with, and I've been through some pretty tumultuous ones, even after being enlightened, if that's what you call it. Every single instance, the discrepancy always came in where I would spend all my time trying to edify and uplift, and through no fault of their own, and I really won't blame them per se. I just say that on the back end, I never felt the reciprocity. Like, that's a tough one to say because it's like I don't want to make myself out to be the good guy here. That's what the big problem is. Everybody thinks they're the good guy, but how do I say this? And let me collect my thought as I say this right here. I spend a lot of time trying to elevate and uplift and pour love and life into people, and the reason why I do this is because it's not to satisfy them. Yeah, it is sort of paying attention to the system of interactions between us, but at the end of the day, it's me constantly reminding myself of why I need to be grateful. Gratitude. We got some people coming in. Hey, what's going on, Isha? What's up with your mama? Hey, gratitude is the right attitude. Yes, ma'am. Brother Ash, my bro. Hey, we definitely getting up soon, man. It's like, yes, sir. We got to do that. But the main thing that, again, what I want to stress, I guess, more than anything is that gratitude, it grounds you in reality. Let me explain something to you about humans. We bleed. We shit. We stink. We're not always manicured. We're not always prim and proper. You know what I'm saying? When we deal with each other on the front end of relationships, we get the ideal version of the person who we're interacting with. We get their very best self. Thing is, that's the social actor. That's the identity. After a while, it disappears, and all that confidence, and all that bravado, and all that glamour and glitz gives way to what exists when no one is watching. You get to see the creature behind the curtain. And if you're fortunate, you're able to find value in the creature behind the curtain even after the glitz and glamour has faded. How do you do that? You remark on the ways in which they positively impact your life. You continually remind yourself, you speak into existence all the reasons why this thing over here that shits and bleeds and stinks is worthy of your time, effort, and consideration, worthy of your best effort and consideration. After you've heard every story there is to hear and listen to a person ramble about all the things that are happening within their inner story, there still has to be something there that motivates you to want to be around that person, that intrinsically motivates you to want to be around this person and to, just see the monster behind the curtain without being scared or bored to death. That is gratitude. And I'm talking about romantic relationships right now, but it's just in general. Gratitude is it's your ability to find a sense of elation from all the ways in which you're benefiting. I go that my life is pretty rough, man. I mean, just in the role that I occupy, the thing that I am, it's a rough go. And what gives me any sort of motivation towards life, what gives me any sort of desire to press forward through all of this is at the end of the day, I literally have to find gratitude in what it is I'm doing. I have to find gratitude in this experience because that's what gives me power to press forward. You know, that's ironically, I was just thinking about that a little bit earlier too. You ever see these inspirational, what do they call them? Inspiration porn, where you see someone who's disabled, but they still have a positive outlook on life. You know what that touches you to the core of your being and why you get all sort of choked up like, they're still doing it? Because at the core of what you are, you see something in them that you want in yourself. And that is gratitude. Somehow through their fucked up experience, whatever it may be, they're able to find a sense of gratitude. And it gives them a sense of grounding and purpose within life. Gratitude is how you save friendships. It's how you save relationships. It's how you save communities. It's how you save yourself. Narcissism, it is a terrible prison. It is a terrible prison. You know, again, it's an addiction to the identity, but you know why so many people are bitter in the world right now? Because reality doesn't match their inner story. Everyone is mad because reality doesn't match their inner story. The reality in society is that this shit is terrible. We were all disillusioned. We grew up thinking that we were going to have all these adventures and that money would come to us and that the world was going to reward our talents or reward us just for being who and what we are, and that ultimately through those rewards we would be able to find our sense of purpose in life. And everyone thought they were going to be millionaires, and guess what? None of that shit came to pass. Most of us are living hand to mouth or paycheck to paycheck, and it fucking sucks. We put all this effort into the world, we recoup so little. In exchange for the effort we put into it, we get so little back. And finding a sense of gratitude in the social circumstance is fucking hard. It's hard as shit. Problem is, when we walk around in the internal narrative and we're constantly mad because the world around us doesn't match our inner story, we have a tendency to make life exponentially worse for ourselves. We can't have good friendships. We can't have good relationships. We can't have anything. Only thing we know how to do is be mad at everything for not being more like how we think it should be, and then use others or look at others exploitively in hopes that we can turn them into tools to help us get the world into a state and condition that better reflects our inner story back to us. That's what narcissism is. And this is no one's fault. This is how we've been trained through the socialization process. We're all fucking stars, right? We're all stars waiting to be born. And we get into these relationships and we're like, why can't they see my value? Why can't they see that I'm so great? Why can't they this and that and that and that and that? And we don't even want real mates. We want slaves. We want people who are going to be extensions of our identities, and we don't want people who are going to be extensions of our true selves. So everyone goes around jumping from one person to the next, thinking that this person is going to be their final quantum leap. And lo and behold, after a while, you get two people sitting around with their arms crossed, waiting for the next person to recognize their value and tell them how fucking great they are and serve them for what? It's old, isn't it? It's a fucking old game, man. Gratitude. Get in the habit of talking about all the things that are good. You know, I think back to a lot of the relationships I've been in, and basically we came to each other with bitch fests, man. A bitch fest. We sit here like, oh shit, bad things for you, bad things. That became the language between us. We compared bad experiences. We didn't talk about all the things that we were fucking grateful for. We got together and just dumped all of our negativity into each other, and to the point that we were fucking drowned in it. We didn't even pay attention to the systems of interaction between us. We were more focused on the other person being there to comfort us through our stress, through our worries and our concerns. If you have a relationship with someone and you really like them, breathe life into them, and find the energy to breathe life into them by constantly reminding yourself of all the ways in which they're wonderful, of all the ways in which they're unique, and they bring value to your life. Everybody isn't going to be a fucking 10. You know what I'm saying? Some people's personalities and emotional sets are going to be a bit rough around the edges. But when you look at someone and you're like, man, you are worth my best effort. I fucking love you. Like, I just want to be good to, like, I want to figure out ways to be good to you. Funny enough, that's what I want in relationships. That's what I want in my relationships. I want to find a woman who genuinely wants to be good to me out of gratitude for who and how I am. And what I am. Because that's a big one. But, yeah, man. You, want someone to be fucking grateful. So grateful that they pay attention to the system of interactions between you. Gratitude. You want someone to be like, man. And don't get me wrong, because I explained this after the fact, but it's like, you just want someone to sit back and look at you like, my God, I love this person. What a fucking amazing person. How can I make life better for them? What can I do to make them feel loved and appreciated today? And you know the reason why I even want that is because that's how I approach every woman who I enter into a relationship with. I don't want to impress them with the things that I can do. I mean, I have talent in a lot of different categories, but it isn't like, man, I'm going to impress her with this dish. It's more along the lines of, I would love to cook delicious food for her. I want her to experience that. I want to have deep conversations with her. I don't want to impress her with a bunch of fancy words or with swag or anything. I really want to know what's inside this person's mind, and I want them to feel understood. Like, and I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this person who I see as an extension of my true self, and I'm like, yo, how do I make life better? How do I enhance their experience? And the only thing I would want in exchange for that is someone who thinks the same way towards me. Because then you have a system of interactions. That's when the system of interactions form and both people become cognizant of the ways in which they impact upon the other. And then all of a sudden, you have one of these magical couples that just lasts. That everyone's like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. And in order to get that, you had to not be a fucking narcissistic prick. Ooh, we got some more commenters. Ooh, let me see. Uh-oh, okay, so brother absurd, the word. Man, I fucking love this dude, man. All right, so here we go. How do we know if we're showing genuine gratitude and not attempting to acquire attention? Excellent question, my brother. Excellent question. So, how do we know if we show genuine gratitude versus trying to acquire attention? Knowing that you show genuine gratitude comes from a sense of elation. Like when you are grateful for something, you basically feel happy. You feel happy because something you became a let me see if I can say this exactly right because I'm reading Principles. So, but genuine gratitude is accompanied with a feeling of happiness. It's like what you feel when someone gives you a gift you really wanted. like you like, oh my God, I'm filled with such joy because this particular thing. It's like, okay, so you ever had a favorite toy when you were a kid and you couldn't wait to get home to play with it? And I'm not saying that it lasted forever, your feeling towards this toy, but when it was new, and especially if it was something that you really wanted, you remember how you couldn't just wait to just get to it? That's gratitude, man. Like, you're like, and I'm sure that there's probably a better way to frame it, but that's what it feels like. So it's like, for instance, for me, I'm going to use my own experience in this, but it's like, I'm like, a lot of times I don't like doing avatar work because sometimes it can be pretty tedious. It can be long, and a lot of times I'm just empty and broken. I don't have anything in me to give, I don't think. But then it's like, I sit back here and I just reflect on all the things that I've sort of been through. And it makes me sort of excited to get to work in this journey. Like, you kind of like, man, I've seen some pretty cool shit, man. I've done some pretty cool things. I've helped some pretty cool people, and I've learned from some really, really dope people. This shit ain't bad. All right, I got my energy. Let's go. Yeah, and I probably could have connected all that a little bit better, but the point is very simply, gratitude, it not only does it give you a feeling of happiness, but it also energizes you. It keeps you intrinsically motivated towards things that sometimes seem tedious and boring. I've been in a lot of relationships, and relationships of work, and I haven't been in a lot of relationships, but I've been in relationships where things got really, really sour. And as things got sour, I started to draw into my inner story. And in the inner story, everything became amplified. So I'm like, oh, she's this and she's that, and she's this and she's that. And I tear it down in my mind. And before long, I was no longer interacting with the woman. I was interacting with the strawman character of the woman I'd created in my apperception. And I'd given her all these labels, and all these labels basically justified why I was entitled to separate myself from her. Why I was entitled to pursue other things or politic and parlay with other women or whatever. I did this, and I own it. Now, if I conversely had become grateful and had operated from a space of gratitude and forced myself to be cognizant of all the positive impacts those women made on my experience, then I would have never got lost in the inner story, and I never would have believed this system of labels I created in order to justify being a selfish asshole. When you're grateful, it requires observation. It requires analysis. You actually have to itemize why this thing is having a positive impact on your experience. Even reality in general. If you're grateful to reality, you have to actually pay attention to reality. That means you have to come out of the inner story. You have to stop thinking about everything that doesn't make life easier for me is bad, and everything that makes life easier for me and or reflects my identity back to me is good. You got to get out of that inner story and start paying attention to the impacts that are made on the material reality and all the ways in which you're benefiting. You know how many people wake up every day in fucking pain, agony for no reason? If you sit here and you think about your body right now, you may have a bruise here or maybe some arthritis there or whatever, but overall, you're not in a state of agony. Most of you out there, I'm pretty sure all of you are not, nobody's starving. People have eaten. You're probably in a place where you may not be the warmest, you may not be the coldest, but you're not freezing, you're not burning up. There are a lot of reasons for you to be grateful for how good you have it now. And when you start paying attention to and being grateful for all the ways in which you're benefiting from life, it starts syncing you up with reality. It starts pulling you out of that prison of self-idealizing and or the internal narrative in which everything turns into this fucking nightmare wherein you're the hero and everyone else and everything else that didn't like you is the villain, and everything is out to get you and you have to protect yourself at all costs. That's fucking terrorism. It's living in a terror, like a nightmare. It's living in a nightmare. Jesus is quoted as saying, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Truer words have not been spoken. If truth is what's consistent with reality, and honesty is the individual's will and effort to recognize and sync up with reality, then gratitude is the tool you use to recognize and sync up with reality. Instead of saying, "Oh, woe is me," and getting lost in the victimhood narrative, maybe come out of that and start looking around like, damn, I'm benefiting in this way. I'm benefiting in that way. I got stresses, but it's like, man, if I'm comparing stresses to, I guess, all the things that aren't out of order, maybe shit isn't as bad as I thought it was. We sit down here and we can go down our mates. We can observe our mates and we'll be like, oh, they're terrible. They're this, they're that, and that. Just try writing out a list of good ways in which they positively impact your life and experience and literally focus on it. Like, force yourself to just go through a list of things and positive things they bring to your life and sit back there and just really sort of reflect on it. And I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10, you're going to come up with a list and you'll be like, yo, unless they're a raging narcissist and just a vacuum of potential, you're going to come up with like, yo, damn, this motherfucker really does do things that make my life easier. This did not even make my life easier, that make them worthy of my time. I know that's how I learned to look at interactions with people, and I do this with my friends as well. It's not just romantic relationships. And it's weird that this turned into a thing about romantic relationships, but I think there's a lot of contention around that area, and most people, they don't know how to build and bond with people on any level, but romance seems to be what causes the most contention in the grand scheme of things. Like, a lot of people, they're more mad at romantic relationships than they are with friendships, and they are with familial bonds and things of this nature. So that creates more aggression and more animus in the world. So I guess that's the reason why I'm sort of focusing on it right now. But yeah, man. Yep. That is how it goes. Gratitude, people. Practice being grateful. It frees you from the prison of selfishness. It frees you from the prison of parasitism. Gratitude. Look at somebody who you don't like. Find things about them to be grateful for. Find things about them to compliment. Don't make everything about you and your desire to protect and defend your value and worth. You're not the star of everything. Anywho, guys, I like chewing gum. I don't even know if y'all are still tuned in. Y'all probably gave me a couple minutes and you're like, oh, he's talking crazy. Nah, it's up. I'm funny. Let me see. As you guys already know, you can catch me on social media. I'm on Facebook, obviously, because that's where I'm recording this from. Got Instagram, Avatar Cycle XIII, Avatar Cycle 13. Also, if you are so interested, you can join the Patreon family. Avatar Cycle XIII or Avatar Cycle 13. Again, everything goes towards trying to build this up to a larger platform. I'm trying to reach as many people as I possibly can while I'm still in this body. Don't know how long I'm going to be here, so let's get it for what it's worth, man. Also, you can check me out on Medium, and then I have my YouTube channel as well. Putting out these, I'm actually posting these podcasts to my YouTube channel. So just in case you've missed any and you want to go back and catch them, you can just check them out on my YouTube channel. They're all numbered by episode. I think this is episode 15. So yeah, man. Also, if you just get any sort of benefit from any of this stuff that I'm putting out, and you just want to bless your boy, like my brother Angel so kindly did the other day, for the amount of work I put into this, then you can always hit me up on Cash App at Donnie King. You can see it scrolling in the bottom of the page. But at any rate, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, your consideration, and your interaction more than anything. I can't wait to build this up to a place where we can actually have real live exchanges. It's going to be pretty cool because this works better conversationally. But, again, main thing we want to focus on the main thing I want you to take away from this podcast is simply this. It's impossible to be grateful for anything if the only thing you focus on is you and your sense of gain and your sense of loss. When you start focusing on how you're benefiting from others and how you're benefiting in reality, and you stop being so focused on this proverbial mirror you carry around with yourself everywhere, it frees you up to see reality as it is. Gratitude is a key. It frees you from the prison of selfishness. It frees you from the prison of parasitism. If you're not grateful, you run the risk of losing opportunities, of losing relationships and friendships, and even worse, throwing those things away. It's your man. I appreciate you. Much love to you. I'm out.